Every product around you exists because of a plan. Welcome to the Industrial Analyst, where we uncover the strategy behind industry.
Okay, so every leader, every company has a brilliant strategy, right? At least on paper. But how many of them actually make it work? Today, we're going to dive into one of the biggest challenges in business, how you turn a great plan into real-world results. Let's get right into it. You've probably been here. You've got this solid plan, everyone in the meeting nods along, seems like they're on board, but then nothing. The results just aren't showing up. It's an incredibly common and, let's be honest, super frustrating problem. And you know what? It usually isn't because the idea was bad. It's almost always about the messy reality of execution. So where does this gap between this brilliant idea and, well, reality come from? It all starts with that first absolutely crucial step, translating the plan into actual action and doing it across the entire company. I want you to think about it this way. A blueprint for a skyscraper is essential, right? But that piece of paper doesn't build the building. You need the steel, the concrete, the workers, and a system to make sure everything fits together. It's the exact same thing with strategy. A plan is just a document until you align the whole organization to actually bring it to life. So here's the crucial part. That alignment has to happen across these four pillars. First up, your company's structure. It has to actually support the decisions you need to make. Then you've got your policies, the rules, and even the unwritten cultural norms that guide how people behave. They have to motivate the right behaviors. Next, your day-to-day processes. They have to be totally consistent with your new goals. And finally, your assets. And that means your people and your equipment. They have to be managed to support this new direction. If even one of these is out of sync, the whole thing just starts to wobble. But here's the thing, execution isn't a one-and-done deal. Once you launch this thing, you have to constantly check its pulse. You've got to make sure it's still healthy and, on the right track. Monitoring is basically your early warning system. You have to be asking, is this strategy actually delivering the profits or market share we wanted? Or, whoops, has a new competitor or some new tech just changed the whole game? And this one's really important. Did our plan create some unforeseen problems? Like, maybe we started sacrificing quality just to be faster? You absolutely have to keep your eyes open. And this right here, this reframes the entire purpose of monitoring. See, it's not about pointing fingers or assigning blame for what went wrong. It's about organizational learning. Every single success and every single failure, that's just data. Data that makes your entire organization smarter and more competitive. It's all about creating this constant feedback loop so you can keep getting better. Okay, so what happens when that monitoring system flashes a big red warning light? What if there's a serious problem? Let's look at a couple of real-world scenarios where a successful strategy suddenly just hits a wall. All right, imagine you're a giant in the fast fashion world, and your star supplier, the one that's perfect on cost, quality, and design, suddenly starts failing. Deliveries are late, the quality is dropping, and you find out they're having some serious internal money and management issues. This is a big deal. Now, the easy answer, the knee-jerk reaction, is to just find a new supplier. But that's super costly and it takes a ton of time. The really strategic move might be to double down, to actually use your resources to help them out, maybe through a strategic alliance or even buying them to secure that critical part of your business for the long haul. Okay, now let's look at a totally different kind of problem. You've got this massive hotel group they've dominated for decades. But now the market is just full, saturated. They're actually canceling new projects because they can't outcompete their rivals or, new models like Airbnb. Growth has completely stalled, and the investors are getting very nervous. Their old strategy, which was basically build more hotels, is dead. It's over. So the answer isn't to just do the same thing, but harder. It's to look completely outside their industry. Maybe they could diversify into something related like credit cards to create whole new revenue streams that, bonus, also strengthen their core loyalty programs. Now, these are huge, really complex problems, the kind that a traditional, slow-moving hierarchy really struggles to solve. So how do you build an organization that can handle both the day-to-day grind and these massive, urgent challenges? Well, you give it a second brain. And that brings us to the dual operating system. This is a really powerful concept from John Kotter. The idea is you keep your reliable, efficient hierarchy for running the daily business. That's not going anywhere. But you add a second system right alongside it, a dynamic, super agile network that's designed specifically to tackle those big opportunities and drive major change. This is a brilliant way to look at it.
Just think of the hierarchy as the logical left brain. It's all about management, process, stability, keeping the trains running on time. The network, on the other hand, is like the creative right brain. It's all about leadership, new ideas, and agility. And they aren't separate. That's the key. They are two inseparable parts of one mind, and you have people working in both systems, sharing information back and forth constantly.
Okay, so you have this powerful second system, this right brain. But how do you actually switch it on? How do you fuel it so it can create truly rapid change? Let's look at the engine that makes this whole thing go. This network runs on what Cotter calls a big opportunity. Now, this is not just another quarterly goal. We're talking about a huge, exciting vision for the future, something that people are genuinely passionate about and actually want to volunteer for. It's the big rallying cry that gives the whole network its purpose and its energy. And this is the playbook for making it happen. These are Cotter's 8 accelerators, and they create a cycle for change. It all starts by creating massive urgency around that big opportunity, making everyone feel like we have to move and we have to move now. Then you build a coalition of passionate change agents and form a clear vision. From there, it's all about empowerment. You get a small army of volunteers on board, and you get all the barriers out of their way. And this is so crucial. You have to generate and celebrate small wins to build momentum. Finally, you take these new ways of working and you anchor them back into the stable hierarchy, making the change stick. It's this amazing, continuous loop of innovation and then integration.
So, that leaves us with one final and really important question to think about for yourself. What's that one big, game-changing opportunity that's facing your world right now? The one that the old way of doing things just can't seem to solve? And how could an agile network of passionate volunteers be the key to finally grabbing it? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.